What's good, World Republic? Welcome back to another video. Editor Sly here. Glad you could make it. Before we start, please join the Discord community. Link down below for me. When you click the link, the invite should appear as shown. Click accept invite for direct access to yours truly, your fellow community, as well as being notified every time we go live. You'll also be able to view all VODs from the Discord server, as well as any YouTube videos, and be notified when I post here on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, around 99% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel. Make sure you fix that by hitting the subscribe button and turning on all notifications. If you do that, I can find the content for you and we can watch it together. Shout out to all my current subscribers as well as current subs on Twitch. We call y'all citizens, you feel me? And yeah, enjoy the video. What's good, YouTube? About another reaction. We got one from the dog, Kira, aka Kirai. When the Fantastic Four was actually fantastic, I believe this delves into the Fantastic Four that we had with the dog Chris Evans, aka Captain America. As always, we're gonna pre-follow like on that video. Make sure you check the description for not only the socials but the Discord link. That is how you'll be notified every time I post a YouTube video, as well as every time I go live. It's also the greatest way to contact me, as well as people like the artists who came up with the PFP that we use currently, as well as various other factors. Without further ado though, we're just gonna hop straight into this. And I'm gonna be very transparent. Let me be very clear. The thing is, this movie was fire, pretty fantastic, and I don't think it's a stretch to say.
The movie starts off with Reed and Ben pulling up to Victor Von Doom's tower. He's trying to convince Victor to fund a trip to space so he can study cosmic radiation, but Reed gets stopped halfway through, gets called broke and slightly unattractive. But at that moment, Sue Storm comes in, and that's when Victor gets the idea to slime
They didn't call him slightly unattractive.
Reed out in the most vile way possible, trying to bag the love of his life in front of his very eyes. So he gives bro the job, with Reed's only
for some reason, like the narrative that was being pushed. I mean, I think it's a good movie because it's kind of comic accurate, but the narrative that was being pushed is that like Reed was low bro, especially at the beginning of the movie, because this is before he's able to do anything crazy with his intelligence. But him and Doom still have the history from like university, so it's like they're both well aware of like, oh yeah, I'm pretty intelligent, you know. They're both aware of each other's IQ. The only like thing there was like, here Doom has his money, and this is even before he got his this is like way before he even got what's it called, Valeria? You said bean-headed ass. Get a load of yo ass, bro. You are definitely quite literally a jit that gets hard carried in the games that we play. Talking about some bean-headed ass. Get a load of yo ass, boy. You built like a fucking dyslexic nose trimmer, man. You built like fucking flamingo femurs, squirrel fallopian tube, and fucking rhinoceros. What them joints called? Tonsil stones. Watch out, twin.
Population being that Ben Grimm is the pilot, but Sue Storm, who's coordinating the flight, tells them they already have a lead pilot. Johnny fucking.
Is it another language? No, the captions are inverted. Okay.
Sue Storm, who's coordinating the flight,
Bro's
tells
lucky
them they already have a
lit.
lead pilot. Johnny fucking Storm, the disgraced former NASA pilot who got fired after sneaking 2 Victoria's Secret models into a flight simulator, which he somehow crashed. They all get on the ship. Reed gets Ben to put the samples on the outside of the ship, while Victor is pulling off some of the most diabolical riz I've ever seen in my life. He tells baby girl, I can show you the world. Literally. Bro is trying to marry Reed's ex on a business trip, bro. Gang is a wall's length apart in the same damn shit,
and he's still macking, and it's crazy because it makes sense. He's a villain. That's how villain's supposed to be written. But not only that, the nigga had money, bro. Reed was broke at this time, and the only reason her and Reed didn't get together is like he didn't understand emotions. It was like the most Mickey reason of all time. So to be fair, I don't blame it for thinking he had a shot here.
But just before bro can cause a villain origin story, they get interrupted by Reed telling him that the cosmic wind radiation calculations were
incorrect, and he's like, well, I'm actually very smart, so the calculations had to be correct.
Slightly off, and they're about to get hit with enough radiation to turn the frogs gay. Victor tells bro, fuck that, I came all the way here, we're finishing the mission. But Ben is still outside of the ship, and they have just about 6 minutes left to live. They're trying to tell Ben to come back to the ship before he perishes.
Guys, I'm not gonna make it.
Bro knew for a fact he was cooked. You can hear in his voice that he made peace with his fate.
Back at the ship deck,
Victor is already raising the shields, which would complete
which completely stops them from the opportunity of surviving here. Like, so not only did you like kind of, it's not like he coerced them because it was Reed's idea, but he saw the intelligence behind it. Not only did that type of scenario happen, you were gonna sit there and slide them niggas out to the point where they stood no chance to win. Knowing you already got the money, you pretty much already got the political power. He gains nothing from slamming them niggas out, bro. Except maybe going back and like saying, oh, I discovered this was my plan. Which he's not going to do because it's going to be seen as like a failure because they didn't really get what they were looking for.
Completely lock out Ben from getting saved. And Sue sees that slimy shit and is viscerally repulsed. Tries to go help everyone out and doesn't even make it close to the airlock before the radiation storm hits. So she should have just stayed where she was at. And everybody on the ship ends up getting a lethal dose of DNA altering radiation. But somehow they survive and get back to Earth. And while the Fantastic Four is recovering in the hospital, Dr. Doom is getting chewed out by his investors. So that nigga, I'm out, like he was in Shark Tank. Johnny's trying to leave the hospital early to snowboard on the resort the hospital.
Then it said, I can only accept this deal by 80% equity, and I know you wanted $1 million, but I can only put in 250,000. You can't do that deal? You said we shouldn't own more than you do with your own company? We're out. And he was getting, he slimed it out too. I think it was the same. He slimed it out worse than how Roger got done to him.
And the nurse tries to stop him from doing so. But the entire
That's the one thing about Doom. He'll get his get back.
time, bro is flirting while getting dressed and telling her he's gonna do it anyway. And this nigga, smooth as hell, slips in a whole kiss before he leaves. So Johnny is on top of that snow peak, riding down the hill with fun shit. When she looks over and sees Johnny is on fire, he panics and launches 100 feet off of a cliff and accidentally activates his powers, leaving him butt-ass naked in this puddle. And the next few minutes is them individually figuring out that they've been horribly mutated. Victor touches some silverware, creating plasma arcs, and bro almost nuts on spot. He knows immediately that he has powers. Ben has a bad case of indigestion, probably from his internal organs being solidified. And when Reed tries to congratulate Sue Storm on moving on with Victor, for some reason, Shorty gets angry.
Hell, man, because not only that, she was actually locked in with this Reed. And that's why she wasn't even like moving on Doom for it, but not to mention that's your ex, bro. Mind you, Doom is kind of his man's. Even though like they're odds, they have history. You cannot go to your ex after they're like talking to your man's and go, hey, I appreciate you. Not even like, yeah, good on you, man, for like doing something. I miss you, but like I'm glad like you doing something with your life, man. My life started going bad, but like you doing what you gotta do. You're taking care of your family. That's tougher than, yeah, man, congratulations for moving on from me and getting with my mans. You don't get your lame ass on, bro.
Happy for you and Victor.
You're such a dork.
I just wanted to let you know that I was...
It's been 2 years and all you can say is that you're happy for me and some other guy? But at least he's not afraid to fight for what he wants.
That is terribly weird energy. Why would you ever have to fight for any woman? You dumped Gang and now you're mad because he's being mature? She's fucking silly. But her power's being activated by emotion. It causes her to...
Look, true, but in the same token, I'm not telling a bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for you for moving on from me. Yeah, you gotta phrase that a little differently. But... yeah, it was kind of Mickey. A huge plot line is like he doesn't care. But that is kind of like his thing. And it's supposed to be like the origin of the Fantastic Four, so they can't really have that like peak chemistry off the ripski.
To turn invisible mid-conversation. When she looks at her hand, she gets startled and knocks over a bottle. And Reed accidentally activates his foreskin ability to catch the bottle. At that very second, Reed accidentally activates his foreskin ability to catch the bottle. At that very second, Johnny rushes in, still butt-ass naked.
We're quite fantastic.
And look at how Sue Storm looks at bro. Nigga couldn't stop to go get some pants, and now the symptoms are starting to kick in for everybody. Victor is losing hair faster than a chemo patient, while the cosmic DNA altering rays is digging in Ben Grimm's guts right now. So they rush over to inform Ben that his DNA is probably fucked up, but by the time they make it to his room, Ben is already busted through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Obviously shocked from realizing he's become a Charmcaster golem. Bro goes back to Brooklyn to see his wife, and she is horrified. You can tell that she does not read those female goon books, because as soon as she sees his face, she starts sprinting in the opposite direction. Understandably, bro ends up sitting on the edge of a bridge where he catches a guy just about to jump. He tries to convince him to get down, but ends up scaring him until he falls in the middle of the street.
He said, "Hey twin, my life a lot worse than yours." And he said, "Ah, you're top."
And Benjamin Grimm, having his passive ability and whatnot, jumps in front of a high-speed truck and completely stops it in its tracks, causing the most unnecessary 20-car pileup ever witnessed. With all the people who probably will end up dying because of this traffic jam, you might as well just get that nigga what he wanted and let him pass away, you know? But as soon as this incident happens, the rest of the team lock in on Ben's location, but they cannot get to him simply because of the sheer amount of people crowding in the area.
And the publicity.
So Reed's brilliant idea is to have Sue Storm go invisible and weave through the crowd without anybody noticing. But Sue does not know how invisibility works and doesn't take her clothes off. Waits until she goes invisible to take her clothes off and then turns her invisibility off. She's just setting herself up for failure. This still causes enough of a diversion for them.
This was not mad when they saw that back in the day. I'm trying to remember her actor, bro, but like people was fiending for her, bro.
She's just setting herself up for failure. This still causes enough of a diversion for them to get through. As soon as they link up with Ben, though, a car explodes. With a little girl in the blast radius, Johnny jumps down on some action hero shit and body blocks her from the blast. Sue Storm encloses the blast with a force field, but the shockwave causes this fire truck to almost fall off the edge. Ben holds the truck in place while Reed saves one of the guys who almost fell to his death. So after saving the day from a situation that he honestly caused, they all start cheering for him.
They don't get cooked how mutants do, bro. When they get discovered, they naturally unlock their powers.
Out of nowhere, Ben Grimm's wife weaves to the front of the crowd, only to leave her ring on the ground and exit stage left immediately. Paparazzi start swarming them, and they've already developed the working title for this team. Sue tries to keep everybody hidden in one place so the media doesn't find them, but Johnny says fuck that and goes to cheese up for the reporters. Everybody ends up following Johnny out.
Johnny said, we did that, you know what I'm saying? It was quite fantastic, bro. We did fantastic. Not only that, he comes up with the rest of their names during like interviews as well.
When they step in front of the cameras, the fire department chief asks who's the leader of this entire operation. Johnny tries to step up to the plate, but even this nigga knows that's a blatant lie.
That's all the way that nigga chuckled in his face.
To the plate, but even this nigga knows that's a blatant lie.
Who's the real leader, nigga?
To an argument trying to explain themselves on national television, and this shit is absolutely horrendous for Victor's stock portfolio. Due to all this publicity about the incident and how his company wasted billions of dollars on a failed space mission, all the investors that Victor had back out, and at this very moment you can see that they unleashed a Omega level crash out upon the world. Reed takes the
especially because they were talking crazy to him, bro. They weren't like, yeah, bro, unfortunately with the public, bro, we can help try to improve your PR. We've been friends for a minute. Instead, they came at him on some, hey, we out, and you should have kept your publicity straight, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know we out.
Entire team to his.
They were talking to him like they weren't investing in his company because he was giving them good returns. You feel me? They were talking to him. You think their company was the one making billions.
Apartment/lab to quarantine them while he figures out how to unfuck their DNA. And Victor pulls up on her out of nowhere. Says that he has a private condo for her to stay at. And the world's finest doctors. When Reed catches them talking, and bro has to play it off like he wasn't trying to take his bitch to a B&B. Shuddy chooses Reed over Victor. Cause Gang is clearly a demon in disguise. And on his way out, he has to
not to mention, the whole concept is they trust Reed to save their lives.
Have this squabble with Reed, but he immediately pussies out as soon as Ben shows up, all bricked up and whatnot in the background. So Victor has lost his money, his fame, his heart.
Said, what you were saying to Reed? Yeah, let me just hit that. That's my dog. Like, but if I gotta do something to do with him, it got something to do with me. Nothing? All right. And then, like, for the rest of the movie, you could tell Doom was like, I know what to do. Once I get rid of this Ben, I'm beating this thing ass.
With all of this devastating news, he goes to see his doctor about his recent symptoms. And it turns out an entire metal shell under his skin is forming. Harder than adamantium, but outrageously conductive for some reason. Doc tells bro he's never seen some shit like this before. And is this close from calling the CDC and reporting this nigga for a potentially contagious virus. Before Victor simply grabs him up. He didn't even really try to convince bro not to do it. And breaks his neck with a wall on the other side of the room. Now you remember that investor from earlier? Victor pulls up on this nigga in a dark, dingy parking lot. Starts slow walking.
The worst part is he's like, Victor, is that you? Hey, bro, this ain't nothing crazy, though. I know this ain't about the investments, bro. Like, that's just business. He didn't even try to beg for his life.
Looking at his victim, bro punches a clean hole through his chest for no other reason than sheer pettiness. He is in full crash out with his kill count already at 2 within the first, couple days of knowing he has powers. Meanwhile, Johnny sneaks out of the apartment to go to the X Games. Also, on his way there, some nigga challenges him to a race. He tries to skirt off the X Games. Also,
keep the license plate. Good? torch.
There, some nigga challenges him to a race. He tries to skirt off as soon as the light turns green, only to realize that his tires are completely fucking melted. This was my introduction to Fantastic Four. Yet, for some reason, my entire life, I did not think this nigga was pyrokinetic. So bro gets in full cosplay and prepares to do a life-threatening stunt with zero training. And the shit is going flawlessly until it looks like it's going to be a live leak video. But at the last second, Johnny's powers kick in and he starts flying and lands perfectly in view of the camera just for the hose. The entire team sees him from back at the apartment because he's on TV.
And like it exposes his suit because like any other clothes would catch on fire, but he built the suit to withstand their powers. So then he was like, yeah, I remember. And they're like, because he had all the sponsorships on his joint too. Like, dang, bro. Like, is that the new suit, bruh? So y'all the Fantastic Four, bro? What do y'all call yourselves? And then it gave Ben the name The Thing. Like, it's crazy when trolling your mans goes into ruining his public image forever. And he was like flaunting the toys. Come on, bro. Ain't your catchphrase is clobber time, bro? Like, what time is it, bro?
While running his mouth on live television, he's going through the Fantastic Four, giving them names. When he calls Ben Grimm the Thing. God damn, bro is horribly disfigured, lost his wife. I don't even know if bro can beat his meat like this. So when Ben pulls up on his location, Johnny comes out to see that his car has been compressed into a ball. And that shit is on sight. Ben starts pressing Johnny, but he decides to be the bigger person and walk away. But the Rage Bait champion strikes once again, puts some heat on the back of his neck. So bro turns around and throws a haymaker directly through Reed's chest. Sue Storm uses a force field to break up the argument, and they walk off in the opposite directions. Meanwhile,
beefing like live on telly, by the way. Like he quite literally practically broke up the group and sold their PR in one move. That's the way Johnny moves, bro. That's the way like the hothead moves. Like that's their character.
Victor is on an absolute murder spree in his own company to get what looks like a heat-seeking missile. Why would you need that? Why is this nigga killing everybody in the building with his name on it? Bro takes the missiles back to his lair where he has a number of creep cams in Reed's apartment. Bro want to see how stretchy it gets. And during this scene, we see the iconic Doom mask, and it says it was given to him for humanitarian efforts in Latveria. The only thing that I didn't like about this version was how Doom had no affiliation with Latveria outside of a couple mentions.
Yeah, it's like not like he's from there or like he built the country. They were just like, oh yeah. I mean, he kind of did because they gave him like the humanitarian joint. So like he made some pretty big changes with his inventions, like a relatively like beforehand. You could call it wouldn't be like crazy to call it primitive.
His own narcissism, that's his only reason for really doing shit. So takes on Dr. Doom usually end up going the either or route when both is the only correct answer. Either way, Victor starts his sinister plan to try to destroy the Fantastic Four. So he goes for Ben Grimm first so he can't cock block any conflict with Reed. He convinces Ben that Reed already has the cure and that he's just stalling for time because he enjoys his—
because you like messing with Sue. Yeah, strong tenant. Get your— my fault. The negatin at 10, boy. Embrace yourself. At like, what are we talking about? I never realized how bad it's like. Look at the dent on that bit too, boy.
New power. And Gang falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, he got baited pretty
hit
easy.
with the oldest manipulation tactic in the books.
Like as someone who lives with Johnny Storm, you would think like he has a little bit of rage bait resistance. And then Doom just used basic predictability, knowing him and Sue has been together for a while, so he knew their chemistry would come back to living together in this new situation. So he's like, oh, he ain't even working to like cure you for real. He's just talking to Sue. So now obviously when he catches them like chilling, he's like, oh, so you just been having fun while I've been living as a freak? You know what I'm saying? My marriage got ruined. Like, he switches up so fast, bro. It's not even funny.
So now he gets Ben Grimm to go confront Reed about a cure, causing a fight within the team without having to lay a hand on anyone. Vic is playing fucking chess right now. So when Reed uses himself as a guinea pig for the cure, it's absolute checkmate. And I'm really going to need to break this down. Right after Reed liquefies himself, he brings Ben to the machine and actually cures him this time. You remember those cameras that he put in his apartment? He purposely sabotaged the first attempt that Reed tried to use the machine and then used his formula to actually cure Ben. Ben. That is fucking diabolical. He cures Ben Grimm just to slime him out seconds later. Reed walks in on his violation, and Victor hits him with a science lesson after he gets a bolt of lightning to the chest and falls out a window. Because of the failed cure attempt, he's like way more elastic than usual, so this nigga's just dripping down the side of a building. In fact, he takes so much time to fall that Victor catches an elevator and meets him at the bottom. When he gets to the first floor, the butler at the door acts as if he's okay. Bro addresses him by name and says he's never been better, then proceeds to fail him through a door. Bro is just a civilian. What did he do? So Victor starts clowning Reed and the fact that he's dripping down the side of a building, realizes he's in the downtown New York area, shiesty-less, and decides to mask up. This all happening while Sue Storm is finding Ben laid out. This nigga was taking a light nap, and because Reed has been kidnapped.
Man, I don't want my powers, bro. They made me chop. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of time he was on, bro. It was like he didn't realize with great power comes great responsibility, bro. But I kind of get it, because there's even some comic runs where like Spider-Man gets mutant-like abilities and wants to like reverse them. And then Charles is like, nah, but being a mutant's a gift. And he's like, bro, it's literally turning me to a spider. And like, you know what I'm saying? I hope more people as I am now type situation. So it's not unfamiliar to have powers you want to get rid of. But to hear somebody who clearly has been jealous of your man from day one tell you like, yeah, I can help you get rid of your powers. You didn't think there was like no terms and conditions on that bit, bro. And then luckily though, it does give good reason for him to like come to terms with his powers and like actually want them and appreciate them.
By Dr. Doom, Ben feels the need to get back in the machine and uncure himself, which is fucking retarded. You got like two other niggas with godlike abilities. Johnny could go supernova. Either way, while they're making this fucking decision, Dr. Doom gives Mr. Fantastic another science lesson. What happens to rubber when introduced to extremely low temperature? And while he thinks about that question, he launches a heat-seeking missile into his fucking apartment with everybody he knows and loves inside. It being a heat-seeking missile and Johnny being heat that can fly. He leads a missile on a chase where he inevitably leads it to like a garbage dump that he set on fire. No idea why he couldn't just shoot flames or something and then turn off his powers. So Sue Storm comes to save Reed when he couldn't just
Did bro even watch the movie? Yeah, he did try that, if I'm not mistaken.
Where he inevitably leads it to like a garbage dump that he set on fire. No idea why he couldn't just
Yeah, I vividly remember this too.
Flames or
like chase it, but then your fire is eventually gonna disappear.
Turn off his powers. So Sue Storm comes to save.
And it's well set up. It's probably set up because the nurse mentions that when he first got his powers, like, oh, you're running like a fever, and he's like, no, I'm perfectly fine. You feel me? So he does like just run hotter than the average person. So it's not even like a reach that even without his flames on, it would still target him.
Reed Richards, and she tries to negotiate till she ends the conversation with a force field blast. Bro eats that shit like brunch and sends back Zeus's wrath. She goes invisible to avoid the hand-to-hand combat that he put her through. But Dr. Doom can smell fine shit from a mile away. Unlocked his Sharingan at the last minute and choked this bitch up. And right after Sue Storm gets thrown across the room for the second time, Ben jumps through the wall like he was waiting for her to slap one more time. Utters his iconic catchphrase and then hits a home run from Victor's own body. And while everybody's reuniting trying to get Reed off of Death's doorstep, Victor rushes at the thing, negates that nigga's passive, and tackles him out of the window of a skyscraper into a pool that slides down a ramp leading to a garbage truck where they had this Looney Tunes ass scrap where they leave dents in the side of the fucking truck. And somehow Victor still comes out on top. Like, how is Ben losing a hand-to-hand? That's his only job.
No, literally Doom's powers are crazy. He has the lightning, he has the metal exoskeleton, which immediately gets him the durability and stuff. And then he has like this Lex Luthor / Iron Man, Batman level IQ. It's like you normally don't give someone with IQ a power that versatile. Like Reed's power is literally versatile, you know what I'm saying, pun intended, but it has limitations. It's like when you see Luffy, you don't go, that's a broken ability. But you see someone who has the ability to magnetically manipulate things, use electricity that can fry entire human beings, and are essentially have an exoskeleton made of material stronger than adamantium, and you go, who's beating then? No blunt force to really take him out. He's actually pretty smart. His only gap is knowing like the actual physical combat, unless he took classes in college. So it's like, other than that, any weakness he could have, his powers like kind of, you feel me? They kind of cancel it out or like trump that like pre-existing weakness.
Y'all pulled up on me, I would've seen y'all niggas outside.
Ben gets up and throws a whole
Flinching
car
at that
nigga,
size,
followed
too.
by a goddamn bus, only for him to walk out the side. He's beating Ben in strength and durability when the Thing rushes at Victor, picks up this sign pole and bats it away. So with Ben Grimm at his complete mercy, he goes in for the full execution. Reed interrupts him, tells bro to wait his fucking turn,
Between
and goes
us.
back to what he was doing, but gets cock blocked by a Sue Storm force field. He tries to go put his hands on Reed and Sue, but gets hit by a bolt of fire out of nowhere. And now the entire Fantastic Force here stands up against Vic Von Doom himself, and he starts hitting these niggas with plasma arcs immediately. But Reed uses his rubber-like body to wrap him up in a sheet, giving Johnny enough time to trap him inside of a fire tornado. Sue tries to contain the supernova levels of heat so he doesn't ignite the
so he can go
atmosphere and kill
hotter
everything
route,
on Earth.
yeah.
And because this nigga is almost made completely of metal, his mask literally forges onto his skin. But Reed hits that nigga with elite ball knowledge. What happens when you cool superheated metal and hardens this nigga solid in place? And just like
Straight get back. He said, hey, bro, you just telling me about science lessons. We can use your powers against you.
that, the day is saved, and the world's greatest heroes, the Fantastic Four, are born. So is it good?
Marvel's first family was born, man. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to Kirai. Yeah, tough video about Fantastic Four movie. Came in 05, bro. I will consistently say for anime and like most media, that 03 to 09 era, chef's kiss. All peak. Any whoosies, you know what I'm saying? Comment down your favorite movie, TV show, or anime from that era. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, you know what time to catch me next. Peace.